You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Khloe and Lamar After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Khloe and Lamar After Show.
Hello, everyone. Mari Fagel here, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Natasha Frakes.
Very nice to be here.
And I'm just so excited that Khloe and Lamar is back. I mean, how long has
Yay! It feels like it's been forever.
It's been, I think, maybe a year, because we went through Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We went through the disastrous Kim and Kourtney
In New
tape
York,
New York.
yeah.
And I have to tell all our viewers watching at home, this is my first time hosting in Studio B. I'm pretty excited about it.
Mine as well. It feels a little weird, but I think we'll like it.
And this is also my very first time hosting a show with Paul, and Paul is the lovely man who's doing all the audio effects for us tonight. All right, so Paul, I may ask you, I like getting a guy's perspective sometimes, especially just, this is the one show out of the entire Kardashian franchise that my boyfriend actually likes watching. And
Really?
he'll even admit it, because this show with Lamar, you know, being a Laker, now he's a Maverick, you know, having him in it, having Rob in it, I think this show, out of all the Kardashian brand, is the most tolerable for straight guys.
Yeah, because it's not just a bunch of girls running around buying clothes and putting on makeup.
Yeah, and I have to say, I love Khloe. I love Lamar, so I was so excited to see them. I was so excited to get rid of Kim. I mean, them in New York was such a disaster, and Kris, the whole thing was such...
That was bad. That was really bad. I know you told me you're not a fan of Kim.
I'm not a fan of Kim.
So I agree. I'm glad to get rid of Kim and move on to a couple that actually loves each other.
Yeah, and I think that this show will help improve the Kardashian brand, because I think the second that Kim Kardashian got divorced, the Kardashian brand plummeted. I think people turned on her, and people like Khloe and Lamar. And, you know, when they got married so fast, people thought, oh, is this for the ratings? But now they've been married, they got married around the same time as my sister, so two and a half years now they've been married. And it's strong, it's great. We'll get into it in them in this episode, which I think they were wonderful. And they're genuine. I think out of all of the Kardashians, Khloe is the most genuine. She's a bitch, she'll tell you like it is, but she's genuine. You're not getting fake. You're not getting no talent reality whore.
And that's why she was able to find love, you know, because she is the most genuine. She is the most relatable, and she's not living in some fantasy world, which I think Kim really was. And that's why she ended up into a bad marriage, because she was living in a fantasy world.
She was living in a fantasy world. She rushed into it too fast, and Kris was a doofus. But we're not talking.
Not talking about them.
We're
Enough.
not talking about them.
Enough.
Okay, so let's get to the happier marriage of Khloe and Lamar. We'll get into Rob and Lamar later on. I want to know: are you Team Rob or are you Team Lamar? So if you're watching at home, tweet me at Mari Fagel or tweet
at Tash Mustache,
and let us know. Team Rob, Team Lamar. Let us know. But first, I call this segment Khloe spicing it up.
Yeah?
Would you agree?
Yeah, I think it would be more like Khloe trying to spice it up and it failing.
Okay, I didn't see that big of a deal with it. Basically, she created this love sex den. What did she call it?
I think
Sex
that is
chamber of love.
Yeah, that is exactly what she called it. Sex chamber of love. And then she also tried to have a sex swing in their actual bedroom.
Okay, now Paul, I want your perspective on this. What do you think if you were to walk home and you saw a sex swing on top of your bed hanging from the ceiling and your woman blindfolded? What would you think and what would you do?
Well, I would be pretty excited, to be honest with you. Shows that she's really open to, different types of pleasure. You know what I mean? So that's cool,
The
Shows
only
that she's not
thing
a prude.
the only thing I was thinking is, am I watching the Kardashians or am I watching a porn? And I have to read this hilarious tweet. MLF2424 tweeted me, haha, watching with the parents, hashtag embarrassing.
Yeah. There was a lot of sex stuff going on in the episode, and it was I like what they did with the filming too. Every time it was getting sexual, they made it seem like it was some webcam that was in the corner, and they automatically changed it to like a black and white kind of like gritty film. But there was a lot of it. But I honestly, you know what? I was pretty shocked by Lamar's reaction, because I think most guys, like you said, would really, really like that. They would be super, and he did like it, but he kind of rejected her a couple times.
Yeah,
and
he basically said that he was tired. So, Paul,
yeah, he said, I'm too
are
beat.
you surprised by that?
I think he was just he didn't want to be very sexual on camera.
That's what I thought.
That's what she said.
That's what I said. I said maybe he's uncomfortable being so sexual and so exposing his private life on camera, but I don't know.
They would turn the cameras off. That's what I'm thinking. As soon as anything actually started to happen, then I'm pretty sure that those guys would just get the hell out of there, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it was that so much. What I take away from it, though, is she's such a good wife, and I don't want to talk about Kim, but Kim, whenever she dates next, needs to take a page out of Khloe's playbook, because I love how she said in the beginning of the show, she was like, marriage should always be in the honeymoon phase. Always,
yeah.
And that's great. And look, they've been married for 2.5 years now. They could enter, what would they call it, the sophomore slump, yet she's spicing it up. He comes home and she has the sex swing. He comes home, she has the blindfold. He comes home, she has all these surprises. And you know what? That's important in a marriage, to keep things fresh and to keep them always guessing.
And that's how you can tell that they're really in love, too, is because she's trying so hard to keep it spiced up, and she doesn't even have to. That's the thing. Whereas Kim and Chris, she didn't do anything. I mean, she wasn't even
tried.
She didn't try. And their relationship was like doomed from the start, but she wasn't even putting any effort into it. Khloe's like all about it and like trying to really keep that spice. And I mean, she doesn't even have to. Lamar even said that they have a connection beyond the sex. And that's why it didn't, I mean, he of course loved it, but it wasn't everything to him.
Yeah, he's so cute. I am obsessed with Lamar. He was like, it's more than making love with her. She's my best friend. And I was like, you are so cute. That was a bad Lamar accent, by the way.
Yeah, that was terrible.
But I love their relationship. I think it's so genuine. I think out of every single Kardashian couple, it's by far the healthiest. Out of
For sure.
Kris and Bruce, which Kris kind of like owns Bruce and kind of has him whipped. Out of Kourtney and Scott, same thing, kind of has him whipped. Khloe and Lamar, they're equals.
Yeah. That's how it should be in a marriage, And it's so funny, too, because, Khloe was always the one who wasn't really dating. Her love life wasn't really out in the public, and she was kind of just off to the side. No one really thought of her as the one that would be getting married first, and of course that's the way it works. It's so ironic.
Yeah, she never had all the boyfriends and everything, and now she is the healthiest relationship by far. So I love them. I just thought it was funny and kind of awkward for Malika, who's her best friend and her assistant, to her assistant job this week was to help create and build this sex chamber of love.
I mean, it's better her best friend doing it than calling a handyman, like she said, and asking him to build a sex swing for her.
We would have seen that in the cover of Star magazine. We would have seen Khloe's sex swing fetish.
I mean, from what happened, I guess she should have gotten a handyman, considering it broke after
and you said that you were like, it's gonna break, and I really love Khloe, and she embraces her curves, and I think she looks great.
She does. She looks really good.
Paul, do you think Khloe hot or not? And be honest.
She's an attractive woman, but yeah, I would say
not doing
that.
It for you.
Yeah, not my style. But
Kim or Kourtney?
Kim or Kourtney?
More your style?
No.
None of them.
No.
You're not feeling the Kardashians.
I'm not feeling them, but they're nice women. Nice women.
Not feeling the Armenian thing.
I like hearing that from a guy. I feel like all the guys are just like Kim. It's actually nice to hear a guy give a different opinion.
Actually, most guys I know don't think Kim is hot. They think she wears way too much makeup.
That's true, yeah.
They think Kourtney's hot. I think Kourtney's hot.
Yeah, I do too. She's really cute.
Yeah, I have a girl crush on Kourtney. Okay. So, all right. So let's get to Team Rob versus Team Lamar. Okay, we talked about this a lot in the Kardashians, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, that segments seem to be overproduced, and they seem to always fit storyline A and storyline B, and we clearly had that. This episode, storyline A, Khloe keeping it spicy, storyline B, Rob versus Lamar. In Kourtney and Kim Take New York, that shit was so dramatic they didn't have to produce it. There was, like, you know what I mean? But we felt like in Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and my co-host Jackie Moran, a couple others will be joining us next week, we felt like they would produce the drama. Do you think the Rob and Lamar fight was produced, or do you think there was, like, genuinely they were unhappy with each other?
I think that they were genuinely unhappy. I think maybe they produced it so that could all fit into one episode, and so that it was the same time as some other drama with the Khloe sex thing. Because they only have half an hour, and there has to be a lot that goes on. Otherwise, the show would be boring if they're just sitting around going to lunch and stuff. But it seemed like there were some pretty genuine feelings there. They both seemed to be really hurt by what was going on. And especially when they brought up the Dancing with the Stars thing. Rob saying that Lamar didn't come to watch him with Dancing with the Stars. And, I mean, that made me feel a little bit bad for him.
You're not Team Rob, are you?
I'm not Team Rob, but I did feel a little bit bad because, yes, it is probably more fun for Rob to go to a Lakers game or any basketball game to watch Lamar, but still, like, everyone was there to support Rob, and it was like his big moment. When does Rob have a big moment? And Lamar wasn't there to support him.
When does poor Rob?
When does Rob have a big moment?
That's so rare. I think his brand is he's creating a sock line. Poor Rob. That's the only thing he can do. Yeah, he's making He's making socks. Like, the girls have Sears and perfumes and this and that. And
socks? Where does that come from? Where does that come from? Like, I get, like, Snooki making slippers because she's always wearing slippers. You know, like, what other Jersey store making T-shirts or whatever because they're all about the GTL.
Yeah.
Where does socks fit in?
They're struggling to brand poor Rob. They're struggling to keep him in the Kardashian brand. But I kind of felt like Rob was being a whiner and a wimp here, and he is like that a lot. And I like Rob. I mean, he's my age. He went to USC. From things I've heard from people I know, he's a really nice guy. There's actually a picture of me and him together at at someone else's first birthday,
really?
Like years ago.
That's hilarious.
Obviously, years ago, first birthday. But
I know. I was like, did I hear that right? Did you say first birthday?
Yeah, and you know, when we were like babies, our moms, like Chris and my mom, like had a picture, like gotten a picture with like all the babies, and the two of us are together. But anyways, he is kind of a wimp and kind of whiny in the sense that, like, he's like, I always go to the Laker games. I'm always supportive. Like, are you trying to make us feel bad that you're supporting Lamar by going to Laker games? That's every fucking guy's dream.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry,
of course.
Am I allowed to curse in Studio B?
You are.
All right. No, but seriously, I completely agree. And the only thing is, Lamar was on lockout when they were filming, because normally I'd be like, well, he's busy, he's training, he's practicing, but he was on lockout.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I just think that Rob doesn't know how to handle his emotions as well as some other guys do. Like, Lamar kind of just, like, shuts it off, or he addresses it, which is what he did. He went to Rob's apartment and was just like, dude, we need to talk this out. We need to hash it out. Yeah. Whereas I think Rob, he just, when he gets offended or he feels like he's being rejected in any way, then he just turns into like a little bitch, basically. And I mean,
and it's like, why don't they just say anything to each other? Like, Rob, instead of ignoring his phone calls and bailing on lunch, call him and be like, hey, I'm really offended you're not coming to my Dancing with the Stars segments.
Yeah.
But you know what, both of them were immature, even though I love Lamar. I thought Khloe handled it really well, because it's very difficult when
you're in the middle.
You are in the middle when your husband and one of your siblings are fighting. And I think she handled it really well, because she said, you guys need to deal with this. You guys need to talk to each other. I know Lamar accused her of, what did he say? Because it was something hilarious.
Of defending Rob.
No, but he said it in such a funny way. Oh, you defend his bitch-assness.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
But you know, for the most part, I thought that she stayed out of it and that she handled it very well. She's a very good wife. She is. She handled
really
the situation very, very well. I am Team Lamar.
Definitely.
Because I thought that Rob was kind of like, by ignoring him and bailing
and all that stuff that he was saying. I mean, I don't think we can even repeat some of this stuff. Most of it was bleeped out.
Yeah, no, he went.
But he was going wild. He just started insulting Lamar.
Yeah, I'm not one of your homeboys. It's rude. It's rude, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, he was saying some nasty things, and then Lamar just like at first he didn't really say anything back, but then he started saying stuff back too, and it just it just got nasty. You know, like Rob turned it from being like, okay, like we're kind of bothered by each other to like a nasty fight, like a little girl fight. Yeah. And I thought that was not the way that you should handle it. And finally, Lamar, this is one of the biggest reasons to be Team Lamar, is he dealt with it. He just went to Rob's apartment and talked to him about it.
Actually, the biggest reason I'm Team Lamar is he's so sweet. Like at the top of the episode, he's like, you know, I never had a brother. I grew up alone. It's really nice to have a brother, and I'm really sad that Rob is moving out. And I was like, oh my god, my heart melts. Too cute.
That was so cute.
But I was kind of surprised he was sad Rob's moving out, because okay, so this was filmed when Rob was doing Dancing with the Stars, so early fall, meaning he just moved out. He moved in shortly after they got married, so he must have been living there for what, like a year and a half. And I talked about this on the last Khloe and Lamar and Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I think it is so inappropriate that Rob lived with them, especially when they were newlyweds. Even still, it's so inappropriate. And the Kardashians are all about like siblings living together. Like Kim, like moved home after the whole divorce thing, or like and then Rob went to live with Courtney for a little bit in one of the one of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians episodes. Like that's weird to me. He's a 25-year-old man now, and that's really strange to me, and that's not good for Khloe and Lamar's marriage.
Yeah, I remember at first, do you remember last season when he moved in and it was kind of a strain on their relationship, and Khloe was feeling like, you know, this is my new husband, I want to spend time with him, and he's playing video games with my brother. Yeah. I thought it was a little bit inappropriate too, and strange. I mean, yes, they do have a huge house, there is space for him, and he can kind of stay out of the way, but Khloe and Lamar did need their time, but fortunately it worked out well, where it allowed for a bond to be created between Lamar and Rob.
Bromance.
Yeah, bromance, exactly. So it ended up working out nicely, but I think that, you know, all the siblings, especially towards Rob, are a little bit lenient with him, because he hasn't really done anything. He is kind of living off his sisters, and they do need to help him out, and they realize that. So I think they're helping him out in that way.
I think that Rob would be a happier person if he lived alone, rather than if he lived with his sisters. I think constantly being in his sisters' shadows and living with them, I think he needs to break out on his own.
That could be true. Or it could go the opposite way, where he's alone and he doesn't have people to motivate him to get up and do things, and he kind of just sits on his ass playing video games all day.
That's true. We'll talk about in predictions what we think is going to happen with Rob this season. But let's go to a quick commercial break, because we have a lot of news and gossip, because we haven't talked about Khloe news in so long.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you. A lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
All right, let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so Khloe started giving some interviews about her life in Dallas, and she said that she's feeling very unsettled still because, well, it's a new town and they don't know anyone, but apparently where they moved in, they don't have any furniture yet because Lamar is so big that they have to get custom furniture. No, seriously.
I believe it,
like
yeah.
7 or like almost 7 foot or 7
Yeah.
foot something. He's so big they have to get custom furniture and it hasn't come yet.
I mean, that's not surprising at all. I would imagine that he would have to get everything custom made. How could he fit into a normal sized bed?
When I read that, I was like, oh my god, I never even thought about that. Because I'm like the other spectrum. I'm like 5'1", but I don't need custom like furniture. Though I do have my light switch in my room because we moved into my house when I was a kid is like a foot lower than everyone else's light switch so that I could reach it.
That's pretty cute.
But, I never really thought about that. So hopefully they're settling into Dallas. We'll talk about into predictions, like how well they seem to be settling in. She also addressed her IVF rumors. I really thought that she would get pregnant because, and I don't really believe in psychics that much, but at the very end of Kim and Kourtney Take New York, Kim and Kourtney met with John Edwards, and he was saying someone is pregnant, and he thought that Khloe was pregnant. It turned out Kourtney was pregnant, but he thought Khloe was also pregnant, and I just really thought it was going to happen.
So what did she say about the IVF? Did they try it, or?
They have not tried IVF. That's not true. She's not pregnant, and they haven't tried IVF. And we'll talk about in predictions because obviously that's going to be a big storyline. She has something called endometriosis, which I think is like a thinning of the uterine wall or something.
Yeah.
But no, she hasn't tried IVF. And I'd be surprised if she did. She is only 26 years old.
Khloe?
Yeah.
I thought she was older than that. I thought she was like 30-something.
No. Because Kim is 31. Kourtney, I think, is 33. Fine, maybe she's like 28 at the most.
Okay.
But yeah, she's still pretty young. I'll check out that age. I'll make sure to have it.
Yeah, because I definitely thought she was older.
I'll Google it next. I just wanted to read this one piece of news. But first, let's talk about. You apparently didn't hear about this, which a lot of people heard about this. This was a couple months ago. Khloe's two stepmom and step girlfriend lady. Basically, Robert Kardashian, who is her father, he and Kris Jenner got divorced because Kris Jenner cheated and then she married Bruce. Then he remarried a woman and then he had another, and then divorced her and then had another like wife or girlfriend right before he died. And those two women came out claiming that Khloe is not Robert's child. And that, because Kris was cheating, or she was known to have cheated, that Khloe is not Robert's child. He died in 2004 of lung cancer, or some sort of oral cancer. So I just thought it was completely tasteless that they said these things when he's not here to defend himself, and that's exactly what Khloe just said in a new interview. She had an interview with Michael Yo in Dallas, and she said, to say that about a dead man who can't defend themselves is so wrong. And she said, of course, it's not true. And then everyone jumped on the story. Star Magazine had said, like a big cover, is Khloe O.J. Simpson's love child?
See, you know what? That's just where it gets silly. This is just someone who's trying to get press for themselves, trying to get involved in this whole Kardashian fiasco because there's a lot of money in there. And it's just complete crap.
And, she does look different from the other girls and Rob, but that doesn't mean anything.
No, that doesn't mean anything at all. Your siblings can look completely different, and she definitely has resemblance, Yeah.
Okay, so this last piece of news also kind of goes into predictions because we saw in predictions something about Malika and a married man, and you were like, oh, wait, what is that, or what's going on with Malika? So it turns out, I guess, during shooting, we're not sure how much of this we're going to see, but she was dating the Arizona Cardinals player Adrian Wilson, and I guess she gets in a fight with Khloe on the show because Khloe warned her that he's not a good guy because apparently he is married with 3 children, and it's not apparent whether he was either on a break with her or cheating with her, but apparently once he found out that she was on the reality show, he dumped Malika and went back to the wife and the 3 kids.
Married men. Gosh, seriously, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Poor Malika.
I know, right? So let's get into some predictions because that goes right into it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so like I said, now we filled in our viewers on exactly what's going on. Malika and the married man. I'm curious to see what Khloe's going to be like with this, because she tells it like it is, and I always agree with her opinion. So I think, yeah.
I think Khloe's going to be right on the money when she talks about it for sure, and she's going to tell Malika to get out of there. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, getting yourself involved with a married man, I mean, if he's cheating now, even if he's on a break, if he's being some sort of unfaithful already, then you know it's bad news right off from the start. Yeah.
So I'm curious to see just how that one plays out. And then we didn't see that much of Jamie in this episode, but it looks like
we saw him for a second, and I was already like, I don't like that guy.
I know. No, neither of us like Jamie. He's such a hanger-oner. But apparently he's going to be living with them for 6 months. I don't know if this is after they already moved into Dallas, and maybe Lamar needs a friend in Dallas. I don't know.
That's a good question. You know, I wonder if maybe he won't end up living with them, because maybe he'll live with them for a bit, and then they'll have to move to Dallas, and so that'll kind of cut it off. At least that's what I'm hoping, because Jamie living with them, it sounds awful.
No, Jamie living with them is terrible for a marriage, too. Yeah. But, to me, in LA, it's unacceptable. And he lives downtown and had an apartment the last season. If it were in Dallas, it would be a little bit more understandable, because, as we see also, and I already know this from the news, that Lamar isn't doing so well with the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah. And, like, he was the 6th man of the year last year. And, he didn't do so well in Dallas, and even in the in the previews we saw that he's kind of struggling, and they're lonely. They're in a new town. They don't know anyone. So if Jamie was there for him, and and Khloe probably is in Dallas as much as she can be, but she probably has to go to LA for a lot of things.
I know she was trying really hard. I remember when they first moved there, she was tweeting all the time. She was trying to do all these charity events in Dallas. She was like really trying to make her mark there and get involved in the community and make it more of a home, because right now, I mean, for them it's like totally foreign. Can you imagine moving from LA to Dallas? I mean,
but I'm saying she's probably not there that much. As much as she can be, she is, but she's probably not there that much. So I wouldn't have that big of a problem if Jamie moved in with Lamar, because he has to be there. I don't know, but no, you're right. She, even in that Michael Yo interview, she was talking about the charities that she's done. They did a little tour of Dallas in the segment, and I think that's really good. That's great that she took on this place and is repping it with pride. Yeah. And she's such a good wife. I mean, for Kim to bitch about Minnesota, even just going there over the summer. I know. Compared to Khloe, like, totally uprooting her life and with no qualms. I mean, when you see, we're going to be seeing the trade and everything happen, like, on television, but throughout it, she seems very, very supportive. Never once did she say, oh my God, I can't move to Dallas. I'm going to stay in LA. You do this. Like, this is the end. She was supportive of him throughout.
Definitely. She's not like Kim, who was like, go on your own. I'm never going to live there. She like fully took it on. She's like, we're going to do this together. And that's the way that marriage should be. Yeah, no.
Honestly, any like soon-to-be wives, take a page out of Khloe's playbook, because she has a very healthy marriage, especially for reality television, which is dooms all marriages. Knock on wood that it dooms theirs.
I know. I don't think it will, but that is kind of scary.
Yeah, because he has been married before, actually, and he has 2 kids from a previous marriage. We see a little bit of his dad, of Lamar's dad, which I like that, because it brings a really genuine thing to him. I think that when Lamar first signed up for the show, a lot of basketball fans and people were like, he's like going to be doing the Kardashians, like really, Lamar Odom, he doesn't need this, like. But then we saw the show and it was very genuine. Like, he wasn't some reality horror. It was really genuine storylines of him and his dad, who struggled with drugs, who's been in and out of his life, who always comes to him for money, and they showed their progress in their relationship, and it showed a side of Lamar that it's like, no one can dispute that. Like, no one's going to say, oh, like, that's stupid, you're doing this reality show. Because it was very genuine. So I hope the relationship is still going well.
I was going to say, do you have any predictions about Lamar's dad and whether or not he's still just going to be all about getting the money and what he can out of Lamar? Or do you think it's going to be better?
Tigers don't change their stripes, so I don't think that, unfortunately, I think that it is a pattern of, like, he comes to him for money. But Lamar seems to handle it well, so we'll see what happens with that. And then finally, we see a lot of Khloe struggling to get pregnant and Kourtney getting pregnant and Lamar being kind of like jealous and upset.
I really, really hope that Khloe gets pregnant. I'm pretty shocked that it's taken them this long, and I feel bad that that's happened because
they've only been married 2.5 years though.
I know, but that's long, and I remember when they first got married, they wanted to start trying right away, and if they've really been trying for 2.5 years, that's a pretty long time to. Not...
It only worries me because last season we saw her like. I remember Malika was like, okay, you're ovulating. This is your schedule. Go do it. You're ovulating. So, like, it's not like she's just, like, trying. She's really, really trying.
Yeah, and that's sad because I'm sure they would be such good parents and they want to have a baby so badly.
And it's almost even tougher also because people are always wondering if you're pregnant. So you feel a lot of pressure from all the fans. And then
already
all the
with
magazines are like,
yeah.
Is she pregnant? Oh, she gained 5 pounds. Oh, is she pregnant?
Yeah, and she already has had a lot of issues with weight in the media, so that's got to be tough on her too.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for our news, our predictions. Everyone, thank you for watching. Please tweet us. We're going to be hosting all season long at Mari Fagel, at Tosh Mustache, and at AfterBuzz TV. And call in 424-256-1729. Thank you so much for our first Khloe and Lamar show.
Thanks for being here. It was great seeing you.
See you same time, same place next week.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.